Good Friday afternoon, everybody. Meteorologist Casey Cloud here in the Weather Center breaking in for a flash flood warning that remains in effect till 5:45, or at least right now it does, for the Cross City area, as we are seeing some rain in the vicinity. Now, these rainfall rates don't look as heavy as you would traditionally see in a flash flood warning. That's because the situation, this is pretty nasty because of all the rain we've already seen here earlier this week, and now just seeing some rain on top of that has caused some issues there, according to the Weather Service and Emergency Management, as flooding there is occurring along the airport canal, affecting numerous areas around the Cross City Airport with water entering structures. So the additional thunderstorm and shower action producing some rain there will likely cause some more additional flooding beyond what's already been occurring here over the last little bit. So with the rainfall rate maybe 1 to 2 inches per hour, maybe not quite that high, but in that range here at times, that could end up causing some more issues. So the Weather Service in Tallahassee is calling this a potentially life-threatening situation. Cross City Airport, Eugene, and Shamrock under this. So I just got to be careful here with that water there causing some problems. So again, there's your radar. You're not seeing a lot of heavy rain around, some just on the east side of the polygon, but near the Cross City Airport, in that Cross City Airport area, having some issues here this afternoon. Another thing I do want to say is a viewpoint here of our other radar source. You'll kind of get an idea of what's going on over here. We are getting some more robust, heavier action of showers developing off toward the east here, toward Union, Alachua, further off in Levy County. The temperatures are warmer here, so that could be something to watch, warmer than they've been here as we're looking back in toward that timeline. We're getting more instability, so we could have some more thunderstorm action come into play later on. And we'll go ahead and flip on over to our other source again now. You can see those temperatures real quick, 88 toward Keystone, 87 toward Gainesville. And we'd also have a flash flood watch here in toward the lime green color, a flood watch here as we get over toward the dark green color. So that's indicative of a situation where we could have some more rainfall occurring. You also see some polygons on here for river flood and things like that. So you got to be aware of that potential. I'll go ahead and take some of the other information off. It's a little bit confusing there at times, but I took off the extra boxes. You see some of those polygons on your screen, but again, toward that dark green color, that's a flood watch and play here. And that's going to be going until it looks like this evening, into this evening, and then we're talking about through this afternoon here toward the Big Bend region, toward Taylor, also over toward Lafayette and Dixie counties under this flash flood watch. That means conditions could be favorable here in some of these spots for flash flooding. You're not seeing a lot of rain right now, and that's the good news. But again, the reason we're on is because of the reports around Cross City. Emergency management reporting that flooding along the airport canal is affecting numerous structures there and numerous areas. Really is the key takeaway with the water coming in to some of those structures. So again, just got to be careful here as we're watching the scenario. You see Fannin Springs getting quite a bit of rain, but Cross City, they're also on the edges through these radar sites, so it's a little bit harder for the beam to be able to figure out exactly what's going on down to the surface. So radar could be underestimating things just a little bit here. Got to keep that in mind as well as we're watching the situation. Now I do have another graphic. This is the National Weather Service Tallahassee's graphic. They posted this on Twitter earlier, and I'll go ahead and try to go to that right now here in our graphic source. You'll be able to kind of see what's going on. I'll take off our flash flood warning safety tips. Of course, it is important in some scenarios to move to higher ground if it's a situation where that water is threatening you. I mean, if you can just stay put, though, that'd be probably the best thing to do in certain scenarios. So, again, we'll keep an eye on those tips here. As we do look at this color scale, you can see this is since Monday, and this is really one of the catalysts behind the flash flood warning being issued. If we didn't have all this rain here that had fallen earlier on, we wouldn't have the issues. This is the antecedent rainfall we talk about here in the Weather Service in Tallahassee, highlighting pretty nicely. As you can see over toward Cross City Airport, 6 to 8 inches of rain from Monday morning through about 7 a.m. this morning. And then as we're looking over towards Steinhatchee, 15 to 20 inches of rain. So that really tells the story over there, folks. I mean, that really does kind of highlight the problem. Some spots, though, and one reason we haven't really done that much coverage, you see Tallahassee, a half an inch to an inch of rain. So not too big of a deal over there, but You just kind of see different spots, different amounts, 6 to 8 inches toward Lake City. I know Fort White really getting to the action there as well with the heavy rainfall near Interstate 75. So it just kind of depends on where you're at. I know in parts of Bradford County we've had several inches, maybe closer to that foot of rain. Where I'm at, not that much rain really. I'm half an inch here, half an inch there. So it just really kind of depends on where you're at. I'm closer towards Stark, but again, just kind of give you an idea here of what's going on. Localized higher amounts probably did occur. Again, Steinhatchee 15-20 inches, not as much as what we saw, not as rapid either as what we saw a couple years ago, but it's reminiscent of a situation where we got around 3 feet or so of rain toward the Gulf Coast here about 2 years ago or so. As we were looking late August, I believe. I remember some high school football exhibition games coming into play there, it seems. So just something to kind of be mindful of for sure as we're looking at the overall scenario. Might actually be getting into the regular season a little bit with the high school football, but you get the idea here. Just kind of looking back a couple years ago, we had about 3 feet or so of rain toward the Gulf Coast. But as we go ahead and move away from the graphics now, you're able to see, again, not that heavy rain, not that heavy of rain is occurring there toward Cross City, but just because of the flooding that's already been occurring, the rain that already did happen, that's not going to necessarily improve that quickly here. And that flash flood warning does go until 5:45, and with the heating off toward east, we have to watch further off, as we've discussed, for maybe some heavier rain to come into play here as we're looking. This is our 1 hour rainfall estimate. You do see some green sun off indicative of about an inch in an hour. That's not near as much as what we've seen in some spots here looking back earlier on, but still can cause some problems. And as we get over toward the storm total amounts now, you do see a little bit more. We had some training here earlier on in toward parts of Dixie County, 3-4 inches of rain. But again, you saw what happened earlier on in toward the week. So I just have to be mindful. Weather Service in Jacksonville talking here that some of the showers right now are in the Jacksonville area. They're occurring there in play, but going to have the main accent start around 2 or 2:30 onward into the early evening with maybe a little bit faster development than yesterday, given the better heating as they already above the maximum temperature. They're already above that maximum temperature at JIA. So have to be careful with that. Again, just wanted to jump on because of the reports we were getting from Emergency Management and the Weather Service in Tallahassee, and the rain still occurring here. The rainfall rates haven't changed too much, maybe a little less there in that region, but this wasn't necessarily issued for the rainfall rates that are occurring now. Sometimes you'll generally see that with flash flood warnings because the rain's just occurring so heavy at the present time, because we've already seen so many inches of rain toward that area. Then you get some more rain on top of that, more rain, and it causes the water levels to rise pretty quickly. Again, that canal that you see there, the airport canal in Cross City. We also have to watch some of these river levels here. That's going to be critical in the days to come, as we're seeing some of these go up some here. I know we're going to be watching the Santa Fe River near Fort White, for instance, so we have to just be kind of cognizant of that. Again, just watching things here pretty carefully in terms of the potential. You can see a little bit of lightning popping up. I expect maybe some more lightning to pop up based on the daytime heating here, letting us get a little bit higher. We just have to also hope, I talked about this on Wednesday on our normal update here, we have to hope that we don't have a situation where we have this followed by a tropical system in a few weeks, because the antecedent rainfall and then the rain on top of that could be pretty problematic here. I know where I'm at, over 40 inches for the year. I've talked about the potential for issues to arise with that extra rainfall. I mean, honestly, not even that much rain this week, but again, you see some of these little dots on the screen indicative here of minor flooding, but moderate flooding maybe in some of these spots. We'll just have to wait and see as we look ahead. The numbers keep changing here based on more rain occurring in those areas, so just have to be kind of mindful. Looking back, the top two river crests there toward the Fort White area were the top one there after Hurricane Dora in 1964, and the number 2 one there after Irma in 2017. And it looks like here the Steinhatchee River, the latest update coming in there, does so. And I'll go ahead and put a mouse on the screen if I can here to point this out to you guys. Excuse me. Let me go ahead and switch on over to the WordNet. You'll kind of be able to see what I'm talking about here. We are getting indication of some moderate flood potential there toward the Steinhatchee River, Cross City. I know having to measure some of this stuff manually now is the National Weather Service, so I just have to be kind of cognizant there. So let me go ahead and check on that river level within our other source here, water.weather.gov. So I'm going to go ahead and go on over there right now, trying to get an idea of what's going on toward that area, toward that sensor, to see what the very latest information does display here. They're not getting as much rain over there now, but all the antecedent rainfalls we've talked about here are problematic, and the latest river level information is something to be cognizant of. They're right along the Dixie-Taylor, Lafayette County line, even seeing that level rise pretty quick, in fact, here in that latest update even. So I'll go ahead and try to effort that on the screen here. I'll do what I did with the other graphic here, looking toward the National Weather Service in Tallahassee's graphic a moment ago. See if I can put that up like that here in our source, because this is kind of important to show the viewers here at home exactly what's occurring there toward parts of the area as we look here at the latest information that does come on out. So let me go ahead and take that source now. We'll take the graphic source. You can see what I'm talking about. It's kind of putting this in here pretty quickly, but you see there, latest reading, talking about 23.93 feet. Flood stage 19.5 feet. So you kind of get the idea. Definitely getting there. Major flooding stage is 26 feet. The highest we've ever gotten, 26.09 feet after Hurricane Dora. Second highest there, 1970 on this river. 23.97 feet here in this particular spot. That was in 1970. So getting up there pretty high. I mean, getting up there pretty high here, folks. Again, 23.93 feet. In fact, as I'm looking at that, it looks just off of glance here, off of first glance, is maybe our third highest river level ever recorded here at this site. So it's definitely problematic as we are watching here, not necessarily seeing a forecast with this. So it could get even a little bit higher. We'll just have to wait and see. But just off of first glance here, it looks like it may be at our third highest river level ever at this site there at the Steinhatchee River near Cross City. So something to be cognizant of as that rainfall really coming into play in that general vicinity. We'll keep you updated on that situation if necessary there. So kind of seeing that number go up pretty quick. I mean, you've seen we weren't even in a flood stage earlier this week. So that is something to kind of always watch out for if you're near a river, near a creek, a canal, things like that. Let's go back on over toward our radar pictures out. You can see a little bit of lightning toward Levy County. So some of the instability mixing in more lightning toward parts of Columbia County there. Getting closer toward Lulu, it looks like there. You see heavier rainfall as we're looking toward the Olustee area. So we'll just kind of see how this falls. You see in toward Gainesville, Northwest 16th Avenue, getting into some of this rain. And in fact, talking about Gainesville, let's pop up our UF WeatherStem camera now if we can. Kind of give you guys a look outside here at the situation. Maybe we'll try to do that here in just a moment. I might have switched to UF camera. I always switch these out, so it's kind of variable here and exactly what we'll go to. In fact, let's go ahead instead and go over toward the Cross City camera. We'll go ahead and pop up our Cross City camera. I put this in the system just a little while ago. This will kind of give you an idea here. The Dixie County High School viewpoint, in fact, so the stormy skies around. So definitely telling the story there. Interesting feature off toward the right side of the screen, and there's just the darker skies there toward the left side. So you have to be kind of watchful of what could happen in toward this vicinity because of the heavy rainfall that is taking place. That potential there could kind of reinvigorate itself potentially in toward the afternoon hours. We'll just have to wait and see, though. It's kind of monitoring things here pretty carefully to see how the overall situation does come about here across parts of north central Florida. So not going to stay on too much longer here, but just trying to give you some visuals of the situation. I am trying to effort that shot in Gainesville, actually a gust of 30 miles an hour. So we're going to go ahead and try to get that pulled up here in just a second. Just getting a gust of 30 there in toward that Gainesville region. So that's kind of interesting to say the least, getting a report like that here on the weather stem sensor. Seeing just that potential kind of in play here definitely could be problematic in a minor way. We'll just have to kind of be watching for that. Now toward Tallahassee, they're not seeing much of concern, and I'm going to go ahead and pull this camera up because we're actually seeing an interesting feature on it, a spider. It looks like some type of bug here on this shot. So let's go ahead and show you what I'm talking about. If we can, we'll go ahead and pop this one up here. Actually, I think I'm trying to go ahead and get the UF one in the system. So let's go ahead and we'll go to UF first, and then we'll go over toward that bug. Here's a UF camera. You do see here some of the darker skies in the picture there. Definitely seeing what's happening at the University of Florida. Again, that gust to about 30 miles an hour or so in the Gainesville vicinity, just recorded there on that sensor. I always just have to be cognizant of that. So keeping our eyes on what is happening there visually, that's always important in these scenarios. Let's go over now. We'll move away from weather stem for a moment. We'll move away from weather stem, looking at some of the different shots here this afternoon. Trying to give you a look here outside, and we'll take you back to the radar for a second. You see what's kind of happening there, and then we can also give you a look off toward the western Stark area here. What is going on? Let's go over here toward our other viewpoint now. You kind of see the skies in play, how things are a little bit darker off toward the west here. Just have to kind of be watching that. Just have to kind of be watching that here. And then again, I referenced it a moment ago, the camera there at FSU with a spider on it. They're not seeing as nasty of conditions in toward that area. But let's go ahead and go back on over toward the weather stem source. Now, I just thought that was a cool feature. I switched out FSU to Gainesville there, and I saw that and wanted to put that on the screen for you guys. So just kind of something unique for sure there on that shot. Not seeing the rainfall as big of an impact at this point toward that region. Not near as much rain this week. And again, really seeing our boundary here further off. So that's something that's meaning less rainfall in toward the Tallahassee area here in the grand scheme of things. Let's go ahead now, move away from radar, weather stem there. We'll pop up radar scope in a moment, but you do see our temperatures are not all that warm even off toward Tallahassee, just kind of getting away there. We do have some cloud cover, just getting away from that rainfall though in general. So again, just trying to run things down. You see pretty nice toward Albany, 78 degrees right now here on August 6th. And some of these other spots, you can kind of see that temperature difference as we're looking off toward the first coast. And the upper 80s, again, that fuel for some of the storming is going to be coming into play here. A little bit of that energy here to watch. I talked about radar scope. Let's go on over here now. This shows the rainfall here pretty good as well toward parts of Dixie County. So let's go and make that full screen right now. You kind of get an idea of what's happening in that general vicinity. And you do see here moderate rains that can still add to some of those canal issues in the airport area. So gotta watch that. You see some of the heavier rain as I zoom it back out off toward the east around Trenton, around Andrews, Chiefland. We're looking pretty high on the radar, so not exactly sure what's reaching the ground, but you kind of get the idea here. Again, watching the areas of Union County here, Alachua County, eventually into toward Bradford County, I think, going to get some heavier rain based on the instability here and just based on the overall movement. So be aware of that. Have that umbrella on hand. Be careful for slick spots on the road here, maybe some minor flooding even, or even maybe more significant flooding based on that antecedent rainfall and the flood watch. The flash flood watch is in play. So we'll keep you updated here We're going to watch things. If we need to break back in, we will. But let's go ahead and go back on over to our other source now. You can kind of get an idea of what's going on this viewpoint. And then our final source here will be the GR Earth computer. You can see the temperatures here. You see the rainfall there, some lightning along and near the I-75 corridor. Just going to be kind of watching things here this afternoon and keeping you updated if necessary. If we don't need to break back in, you have cloudweather.com/radar. You also have cloud_WX on Twitter for the latest weather information here. So a couple of different sources. There's automated alerts coming through on cloud_WX on Twitter. You get them as soon as they come out from the National Weather Service offices in Tallahassee and Jacksonville, even if they're not in the coverage area. We'll keep our eyes on Levy County. They're in the Tampa jurisdiction, but we'll see if anything kind of comes their way here as well toward that region, west central Florida. Watching things. I know Tampa office maybe not as concerned down that way toward that area, but we'll keep our eyes on it. No flood watch, flash flood watch there, but just watching things for you here from the Weather Center. Thanks so much for tuning in and trusting me. Have a great day.